After receiving the product, check whether the packaging is in good condition. Ready to open the package. The package is including of one ECG receiver, one ECG transmitter, one dangle key and U-disc, one pouch, one belt, one ECG cable, one playback cable, one USB COM cable, one R-Wave trigger data cable, and one user manual, medical card, ergoline ergometer, Tango M2 and treadmill are all optional. Customers can order according to their needs. The package is including of one Tango M2, two cuffs in large and small size, one power cable, one RS-232 cable, one patient cable 15, and one Tango M2 patient cable. Prepare the relevant accessories in the video. First, insert the power cable into the power cable jack. Be attention that the connector of the power cord is a rotary lock type connector. After the connection is complete, rotate it and lock it. Then connect the power to the other side. Then connect the external cables. Be attention align the lock ring of the cable with the port when connecting the cable. After connect, rotate 90 degrees to lock. Then connect the other end of the cable in the same way. Connect to the interface on the top of the receiver. Next, connect the RS-232 cable correctly. After connecting, just rotate and lock both ends. The other side is in the same way. Connect it to the corresponding interface of the computer. Then connect the cuff cable. There are two connectors on the cuff cable. The black interface has a Balgia port. Connect to the interface above the white interface. Connect the white interface to the white interface on the right side of the blood pressure. The other side of the interface is connected to the white interface of the cuff. Just turn and lock it when connecting. The internal mode connection only needs to take out the external cable. Connect the internal cable correctly to the internal ECG interface. After Tango M2 is connected to the power supply, press the blue power button on the back. The blue LED light on the upper right of the screen is on, and then wait for the boot. After entering the main interface, press the menu button. Enter the menu. Select Monitor Settings. Then press the menu button. Go to Monitor Settings. Press the down button to select the ECG trigger device. Press the menu button again to enter the mode selection. For external mode, select the analog option. Internal mode, select the internal option. Press the menu button to confirm after selection. Press the blue Start or Pause button after confirmation is complete, and return to the main interface. Prepare the RS-232 cable and the power cable. Connect one end of the RS-232 cable to the jack on the back of the control panel. Rotate the side switch button to on. Connect the other end of the RS-232 cable to the computer. Connect one end of the power cable to the power supply hole at the bottom left corner of the top of treadmill. Connect the other end to the power supply. Then turn on the orange button next to the power port on the treadmill. The button will then light up. The control panel of the treadmill lights up, means the treadmill is successfully started. Find my computer. Right-click and select Manage. Go to the Computer Management page. Select Device Manager. Then expand the port. First, connect the USB of the ECG receiver to the computer. Check the COM port generated by the ECG receiver. It can be seen that the COM port of the CP210X USB generated by the ECG transmitter is COM2. Then we connect the USB cable of the treadmill to the computer. Check the COM port generated by the computer on the treadmill. It can be seen that the COM port of the PL2303GS USB generated by the treadmill is COM5. Then we connect the ZRS232 cable of Tango M2 to the computer. This step can be omitted if the Tango M2 is not selected. Then check the COM port generated by Tango M2. It can be seen that the communication port generated by Tango M2 is COM1. We can see that the COM port generated by the ECG receiver is COM2. The COM port generated by the treadmill is COM5. The COM port generated by the Tango M2 is COM1. Then return to the computer desktop. Double-click to open the stress test ECG software. Into the software, click the Tools button on the menu bar in the upper left corner. Select System Settings. Select Profile Setting. Select the device GDT. Configure the port on the right side of the device page. Just match the port we just generated on the computer. Sample choose COM2. Treadmill choose COM5. Blood pressure choose COM1. We can click System Manager. Enter the password DMS to enter the administrator test page. At the test area, test whether the treadmill is successfully connected to the computer. After the test is complete, click OK. Then exit the settings page. Return to the main interface. Prepare the ECG transmitter to AA batteries and the pouch, bandages, ECG cable and the same number of electrode pads. Open the battery cover on the back of the ECG transmitter. Then put into AA batteries. Put the battery cover back on. Correctly insert the ECG cable into the ECG transmitter. Watch the ECG transmitter screen. The screen shows connected, indicates that the communication between the transmitter and the ECG receiver is successful. Then install the electrode pads on the electrode buttons of the ECG cable in turn, and put the ECG transmitter into the pouch correctly. Bandages are used as needed. Then help the patient put on. Before helping the patient wear the ECG recorder, it is recommended to wipe the skin with warm water or gel first. This can effectively reduce the occurrence of interference. Tear the film off the electrode and then paste it onto the patient in turn. Red RA is attached to the right subclavicular margin. Yellow LA is attached to the left inferior clavicle border. Red C1 is attached to the fourth, fifth intercostal space on the right margin of the sternum. Yellow C2 is attached to the fourth, fifth intercostal space on the left margin of the sternum. Green C3 is attached to the midpoint of the connecting line between C2 and C4. Brown C-force is attached to the left midclavicular line where it intersects with the 5/5 costal space. Black C5 is attached to the left anterior axillary line at C4 level. Purple C6 is attached to the left midaxillary line at C4 level. The black AOL is attached to the right costal inferior margin of the arch. The green RL is attached to the inferior margin of the left costal arch. After helping the patient to attach the lid, adjust the pouch to a proper length and put it on the patient. Double-click to open Stress Test Egg software. To enter the software, click the New Patient button in the upper right corner. The patient information registration page pops up. After filling in the patient information, click Next. Attention! Please confirm whether the egg cable is firmly connected to the patient's body. Confirm that the ECG transmitter is in the collection state, and confirm that the communication between the treadmill and the computer is normal. After confirmation, click Next. To enter the collection stage, there are 4 parts of collection. They are the pre-test stage, the exercise stage, the recovery stage, and the end. There is a patient information window at the top of the collection page. Total time, protocol name, stage time, heart rate HR, and blood pressure BP. Please confirm whether the waveform is normal before entering the pretest stage. If the waveform is stable and correct, after the waveform appears in the red grid on the right, click FE pretest in the lower left corner to enter pretest stage. After entering pretest stage, the treadmill starts slowly. The arrow in the lower right corner is the manual flat panel, shows the current speed and grade of the treadmill. The stage time at the top can see the current stage and collection time. Attention! Keep communicating with patient to avoid unnecessary situations. If patient doesn't feel good during the test, please press the emergency stop button of the treadmill immediately. Stop the test immediately. If equipped with Tango N2, in the software settings, after the setting is complete, a blood pressure measurement will be taken at each stage. Can also be set according to needs. The measured blood pressure data will be displayed in the blood pressure window at the arrow. When the data collection is sufficient, please remind the patient to prepare for the next stage, and then click F to exercise. To enter exercise stage, there are multiple sub-stages during exercise. Each small stage has a different speed and grade. After the preset time, it will automatically switch to the next small stage. You can also switch manually. When you want to manually enter the next small stage, then click F to exercise to enter. The stage time window will also have a corresponding display. Attention! The slope of the treadmill increases and the speed increases. Please pay attention to the status of the patient and maintain corresponding communication. If the doctor needs to print real-time ECG, you can press F9 print at any time. You can also click F6 comment F8 mark this segment of ECG. Click the info. You can modify or supplement the incomplete information of the new patient during exercise. When the patient's heart rate reaches the target heart rate, the heart rate will turn into a red flashing value. When max ST is elevated to mm or depressed 1 mm, the max ST value will also be displayed in red. If the patient has not yet had ST changes, no physical discomfort, the data did not meet expectations, can lead patients to exercise for a while. Please keep paying attention to the patient's situation. When patient data meets expectations, please remind the patient to enter the F3 recovery, and then click F3 recovery to enter recovery stage. At this time, the grade and speed of the treadmill will drop to coincide with F1 pretest. During the recovery stage, doctors can observe patients' heart rate recovery and changes in ST. It is recommended to observe for about 10 minutes. After the observation is completed, click F4 End. Then click Exit in the lower right corner to save the case data. The reason for closing will pop up here. You can choose according to the actual situation. Collected patient data will be displayed in the case list when the doctor needs analysis. After selecting the case to be analyzed, then click on the Analysis function in the upper right corner to perform data analysis and report writing and printing. The ECG of the case is displayed at the bottom of the main page. Patient information and diagnostic report.